So hey guys, and thanks for joining me for another video. Welcome to the Random Watch Dude channel. My name's Mark and I'm just a watch addict who likes to plot his watch journey as an addict, as an obsessive in this crazy hobby that is watch collecting. And as you can see, today I'm out on my kayak. It's a gorgeous day here in Auckland in New Zealand. Very, very calm. I'm just under the lee of these cliffs here. It's a little bit breezy a bit further out, so I've decided to stay a little bit closer to shore than I normally do, and I'm just being carried along nicely right now by this little swell that's taking me somewhere over there where I'm going to stop and make a video about Tudor. So this is a Tudor Pelagos FXD Marine Nationale. Beautiful, beautiful watch. I know I keep using hyperbole and superlatives when I'm talking about watches, but don't we all? Don't we all? And this watch has been with me since February, so I've had it for about 9-10 months now. I frequently wear this watch when I'm out on the water. Little wrist shot there. I'll do the little pointy thing as well if you like, you know. There you go. So today, guys, I want to talk about Tudor. I want to talk about Tudor in particular, and this is actually part one of a trio of videos. I'm going to make 3 videos. I'm kind of going to do an analysis of the top 3 common luxury watch companies: Tudor, Omega and Rolex. I'm going to start with Tudor today. I'm going to do what could be referred to in the business world as a SWOT analysis. I'm going to talk about the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities and the threats that are posed to these 3 companies. I'm going to start with Tudor today. So stick with me and I'll see you after the intro. Okay guys, so let's start with the strengths. Always start with the strengths when you're doing a SWOT analysis. The strengths of Tudor. And I'm going to come up with three strengths for Tudor. And the first one, it goes without saying, guys, state-of-the-art in-house manufacture. I mean, this is a great credit to Tudor. This is an absolute credit to Tudor that they've got state-of-the-art in-house manufacturing. Now I know the term in-house gets used very, let's say, very amply amongst some of the other watch manufacturers, but I don't think you get much closer to genuine in-house than Tudor, and that's a real credit to them, because what that gives them, of course, is strength. That gives them strength. They can pretty much plan what they like. They're in control of the manufacturing, they're in control of the parts availability, they're in control of the assembly, and of course they're in control of the quality control. So that's a real credit, that's a real strength for Tudor. Strength number two, guys, is the price point. The price point. You know, Swiss watches aren't cheap, are they? Let's be honest, Swiss watches aren't cheap. But when you're looking at Swiss watches, when you go to your AD and you're looking at your you're looking at your Rolex, you're looking at your Omega, you're looking at Longines, you're looking at Tag Heuer, and of course you're always going to take a good look at the likes of Breitling and Grand Seiko. Tudor sit there at what I would consider to be the Goldilocks zone. The Goldilocks zone when it comes to pricing, guys. That's where Tudor sits. That's where Tudor sits for me, is in the Goldilocks price zone. You know, they're not too expensive and they're not too cheap. You know, and you're going to get your fill, aren't you, with a Tudor? You're going to get your fill for the money. You're going to get exactly what you would consider in the watch world to be value for money. So I think price point for Tudor is a very, very strong position for them to be in. I hope they stay there. And the third thing, guys, the third thing that's a real strength for Tudor is they're just coming out with some really cool original designs at the moment, and that's difficult to see in the watch world at the moment, is cool different original designs. And I point to the Pelagos, for example, the original, the OG Pelagos, point to the FXD, this watch that you're looking at right now. This is a cool original design, and I think Tudor do cool original designs very, very well. Okay, so we've talked about the strengths. What about the weaknesses? What about the opposite of the strengths, the weaknesses? And one of the weaknesses I think that Tudor probably has is that it's the illegitimate child of Rolex. You know, everybody knows, most people know anyway, that are in the watch game, that Tudor is the illegitimate child of Rolex. They are a subsidiary almost of Rolex, and of course that weakens their standalone presence, I think, in the watch industry. That weakens their standalone presence to a degree, which essentially I think it probably means, maybe let's put it like this: they're the second child, they're the second born, which means they've got to try harder, they've got to work harder, because, you know, the firstborn child, you know, is the one that got all the attention and is the one that's more advanced than you. And I'm talking about Rolex here, of course. So, you know, as a second born child, Tudor has to work a lot harder. And that's a weakness, I think, for them, because it means that they're constantly having to, I guess, be interrogated by the daddy, you know, by the Rolex or the mothership company, which is Rolex, and that could be considered a weakness for them, I think. The second weakness that I've got listed here for Tudor, and don't get me wrong, this is the only other weakness I can come up with for Tudor, by the way, is that their dress watch range, I'm going to put it in one word, their dress watch range is boring. It really is quite limited in terms of creativity, and it's obviously a pastiche or a parody of the Rolex dress watch range, which of course alludes to, you know, what I was saying as their other weakness, which is that they're the second child, or the illegitimate child of Rolex. So that's the second weakness that I can come up with, guys. That's the second weakness that I can come up with for Tudor, which is that their dress watch range is just a bit boring and a bit bland. Okay, so where are the opportunities? Where are the opportunities for Tudor to develop in the marketplace? Well, one of the opportunities, of course, they have is that they can dominate the middle ground. You know, that's where everybody wants to be right now. When you consider that the higher echelons of the hobby are completely dominated by the likes of Rolex and Patek Philippe. You know, there really isn't much of an opportunity for, if you want to grow your sales and grow your business and grow your presence. You know, the opportunity for most of the big watch companies really is in the middle ground, isn't it? So that's where they're going to focus, I think, over the next 5 years. Their plan will be to dominate the middle ground, and that's going to mean that they've got some work to do, because, you know, number two as an opportunity is they haven't really got a significant competitor to the Omega Planet Ocean, or let's say the Rolex Deep Sea, a cheaper version of the Rolex Deep Sea. So that's where I can see Tudor maybe taking up an opportunity over the next few years, is to come out with a big, brutish dive watch, a big, ridiculous, thick, chunky, massive dive watch like the Deep Sea or like the Planet Ocean. You know, maybe even put a chronograph on it as well, like Omega have done with the Planet Ocean. You know, just go crazy, you know, with some big, chunky diver's watch, you know, much bigger than the Pelagos, for example. And the other opportunity number 3 for Tudor, this is just in my opinion, guys, you know, you might have a completely different set of opportunities yourself, but number 3 for me is that Tudor can take Omega's spot as the top mid-tier brand. I think that is possible. The way Omega are going right now, with some of their releases, particularly in the dive watch market, and I'm a diver's watch guy, that's what I like, I think Omega are under threat with the way they're going on the thick movements, and of course Omega are the target. You know, they are the benchmark for all of these mid-tier brands. And I think the opportunity for Tudor over the next 5 years, let's say, is to take Omega's spot away from them as the top mid-tier watch brand. Okay guys, so now let's talk about threats. You know, what's the threat for Tudor? If you were to list 3 threats, what would you come up with? And I've got 3 here, guys. I'm going to list 3 for you now. And the first threat for Tudor is actually the very thing which is a strength for them, which is the pricing. So a threat for Tudor would be if their pricing were to become uncompetitive. In other words, if they were to no longer be an affordable watch brand, and I use the word affordable very, very relatively, if Tudor were to suddenly become another version of Omega or Breitling, where you don't actually feel like you're getting particularly good value for money anymore, that is a significant threat for Tudor. Second threat is the up-and-coming brands. You know, the up-and-coming brands, and these are not new brands. These are just brands that are already up in their game at the moment. And I'm thinking of the likes of Tag Heuer. I'm thinking of the likes of Longines. You know, these guys are starting to want to move in and muscle in on Tudor's territory in that really high quality, affordable price range, mid-range, that mid-tier Goldilocks zone. So that's a threat to Tudor. And what that means, of course, is that Tudor have to keep innovating and keep coming out with new funky designs. And threat number three, guys, I don't know, just alluded to it, is they need to keep innovating. They need to keep, and that's the thing with Tudor, is they need to keep pushing the boundaries. You know, Rolex, let's say Rolex don't push the boundaries. Let's say Omega don't really push the boundaries, or they certainly haven't for a long time. You know, the Longines and the Grand Seikos and the Tag Heuers, they're not pushing the boundaries. So what separates Tudor and what makes them, you know, for me, makes them an awesome watch company and coming out with watches like this is the innovation. And if they don't keep innovating, they will get caught. So there you go, guys. There's the end of the SWOT analysis for Tudor. Let me know what you think. You probably agree and disagree with some of the points I've made, and it's all very subjective, isn't it? And it's all very much down to opinion and thoughts on very subjective matters. So yeah, don't take it all too seriously, guys. I'm just having a bit of fun as a watch addict. And let me know what you think in the comments. My next SWOT analysis will be on Omega, and I will do that one over the next week or so. So thanks for watching the video, guys. If you like the content and if you like the video, if you like the waffle about the watch addiction, please, if you haven't already, please do subscribe. If you have subscribed, thanks very much for watching. Thanks for enjoying the day out or the morning out with my Tudor Pelagos FXD Marine Nationale. And I look forward to seeing you guys on the next video. Cheers.